And on the bottom of the deck, we see the Empress card. Now, not surprising that Capricorn is going to turn up with the Empress card. The Empress, she's a goddess of fertility, literal and symbolic. Fertility being the ability to manifest things, right? Be able to manifest things that but she puts in the work too, right? Even though this is the Bride of Frankenstein, who would be infertile in the movie or the book or whatever. She is the opposite of that. You can see here the pomegranate fruit, which is symbolic of femininity and fertility as well. She's someone who understands the mysteries of the universe. The stars in the background give evidence to that. And she's cozying up with her kitty friend right here. And he adores her, of course. She's the ideal mother, wife, businesswoman. She does make it happen. She's basically the best qualities of all the 4 different signs, earth, air, water, and fire, rolled into one. She's got each of those qualities and is a very balanced type energy. Not surprising for Capricorn here, right? Capricorn can be very grounded. Sometimes they're not, though, of course. That's any sign. But then we have covering you the Lovers card. Lovers possibly could be the Gemini card. Could be a head or heart decision. Or it could be that some of you are experiencing a new relationship with someone. There tends to be, in the lover's relationship, if it means a literal lover type relationship, a good deal of balance between the two of you. Then again, it could just be that sense of conflict in between. The head and heart decision that you could be trying to make. Now, in this particular reading, we see she's got a picture of her boyfriend who's writing her from far away. He kind of looks like an uptight person, and then here comes this fabulous lover through the window, who's mystifying and a little scary. And for some of you, you may be going through that type of decision-making right now. It could be that you're not really sure what to make of that. Now, crossing you, we have the 4 of Imps card in the reverse. In the upright, this is a situation that is, it could be a happy celebration, a marriage. You see 1111. That's an ascended number. 1111, it relates to the idea of twin flame relationships. It is in the reverse. It's not the building blocks. Like, if we look again at this, I think of 4 posts or 4 corners that make the foundation piece of a building, a structure, something that you're building in a material way. Imps is the suit of fire, so there's that passion that comes with that, but it's passion put into action, being able to create the bower, having the happiness and the peace of that. In the reverse, it could be that some of you are taking on a lover and it's not going to be getting off the ground. It's not going to be building. It could be some kind of conflict for you, right? Now, that's not to say that there aren't aspects of your life where you're well-grounded, well-rounded, and you're making it work. But there is that kind of a sense here, given that this is in the reverse position, that you may be doing something that can actually uproot or bring down your house. If you are in a third-party situation, if you're stepping out on someone, just be very careful about that, because the energy can be kind of unstable here. Or that you could be leaving a situation because you have a new lover, leaving a boyfriend or girlfriend in the back or in the past. Now, crowning you, we have the Queen of Imps in the reverse position. In the upright, she's somebody who's friendly to you. Doesn't have to necessarily be a female, but it's somebody who's in this mastery type energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. They are in the reverse position. So it could be the case that this is somebody who's kind of a player energy. It could be maybe that there's no passion in a situation that you find yourself in. And maybe you're struggling with that. Maybe that's why this seems to be some kind of a downfall, like the leaving or disruption of a relationship, because somebody more passionate is springing through the window right here. You're ready to leave the stodgy, what was his name in Bram Stoker's Dracula, like Jonathan or something. But he's uptight with his little shirt collar. If you can enlarge this picture, these cards are great. Now, 2 of Fire is, they're not getting along. These 2 imps are at each other's throats, and there's a sense of, we have to find some kind of a balance here. Again, imps is fire. It has to do with passion. So there could be this head and heart decision that we see over here, and you're trying to figure out how to make it work out, because there's a sense that you want something that's more exciting, but at the same time, being a Capricorn, you still like to maintain the peace in your home. You like the groundedness. You're both struggling internally here, but also you're trying to make sense of it and bring these into some sense of balance. Head and heart decision. In the past, or it could be current energy that's moving into the past, we see you moving on from a situation that you've invested a lot of emotion in. The suit of ghosts is the suit of water or cups, so it has to do with emotions and spirit. When we eight of ghosts someone, basically we ghost a situation. We have to walk on, we got to leave. It's toxic for us. It's not fulfilling us emotionally. There's disappointment, heartache, loss with that. On some level, there's something that many of you that are viewing have left behind. That could be this leaving the partnership. Maybe you were living with someone and you're moving on from that. You've decided to leave it, and that's why it seems that your home life is uprooted, or the opposite of edification. What would that be? Uprooting, I guess. 10 of Imps, we see you with a great deal of responsibility. This is in the forward movement. This is what's coming, right? There's a great deal of responsibility that has to be done. If you are leaving behind some type of situation, you are uprooting. It could be that just the basic detail work. Again, though, Imps is fire. So there's something that you're taking on that you have to put this passion into action to make it happen. And there is still some sense of loss along the way. As many responsibilities as you have, one may get away. You may overlook something. So be careful that you're making your lists, checking them twice. Kind of find out if you're naughty or nice. Well, but anyway, you get the point. Just be sure that you're checking your list, and you're making sure that all your stuff you need to do is on that list, and you're taking care of that. But be careful that during all of this, you're still finding time for yourself to play and relax. Try to maintain the sense of balance here. I will point out too that the next deck, the next card over here, at the bottom of the deck is the Fool card, which is about taking that blind leap of faith. Sometimes when we find ourselves dissatisfied in a situation, we really do need to move on from it. We do need to try something new. If for no other reason than to keep growing as a person. When we feel stagnant, we do become the dead body that is electrified into life, but it still is a dead energy. We need to be able to come to life fully, be able to produce fruit, however we want to call that metaphorically. Some of you may actually garden, but in that sense, whatever that is, you want to feel alive in your life. 7 of Bats is kind of getting away with something. Again, it's this kind of energy that some of you may have somebody on the side, or you may have slid from one relationship into another because you may have been seeing somebody kind of on the down low. You'll note that this guy here, he's sneaking out of these tents and he's trying to get away with all these bats. Some of them are escaping. He's not going to be able to take everything with him. But be careful too, because sometimes that can indicate evidence. The lipstick on the collar stereotype or something like that. Be very, very careful here that you're not, I want to say messing on your karma, by leaving a trail of heartache or anything like that behind. But this environment card, this is the card representing you, and this is the card representing your environment. There's a lack of passion in your environment. Ace of Imps upright would be the Ace of Wands in other decks, which is a clear phallic symbol. Has to do with a lot of passion. This is an absence of the passion, which could be why you were seeking something outside of your relationship and turning this, what used to be an edifying marital structure, upside down, trying to get away with something though. But if you are found out, there could be a battle zone at home and a great deal more responsibility, because now you have to take care of the person that found out about you if you're not completely ready to 8 of Cups them and move on from that situation. But if you're trying to balance that, and sometimes we can unwittingly or without any intention, we can make our life even more complicated than it already is. Five of Ghosts is about a sense of loss, disappointment. So for some of you who do make the choice that you're going to be moving on, expect that you're going to live in this energy for a little bit longer. Possibly you're fearing that you're going to live in the disappointment energy. But the only way to heal from anything is to just go right through it. That's the only way to leave it in your past tense. We have to feel our emotions. If we don't, we carry it around with us. And then it winds up becoming yet another burden, another responsibility that we have to take on. Because now we're going to be feeling less and less balanced in our life. And we're more likely to feel anger, disappointment, frustration, random spurts of tears. Any of that can happen. So we have to be very, very careful where we're going with that. And then Wheel of Fortune. This guy looks terrified. He has no idea what the future will hold. And the future may or may not go the direction that he wants it to go in. If you've been doing something, where you're cheating on somebody, or it could be that this lover partner is cheating on somebody to be with you, understand your personal hens may come home to roost with that. There is a karmic balance in that. So, are we operating from the idea that, do no harm, or are we not? Then again, it could be that all of this is meant to be for you anyway. Typically, it does tend to be. Sometimes, though, we tend to make our lessons harder than they absolutely have to be, because we can engage in some of this battle type behavior down here. In a lot of decks, I kind of want to point out here, like in the classic Rider-Waite Tarot deck, it's a person who's facing away from the viewer of the card, and there are still two sticks, two wands in the middle. And it's kind of the idea of surveying the situation, surveying what's happening in order to be able to make a decision. That's again why I point this out as some kind of an internal struggle. There's a lack of passion in your life, whether it's for another person or whether it's for your current life situation. But this really does kind of read like a relationship reading for a lot of you. Not that it can't be a workplace or career path type situation, but it really does kind of seem like for many of you it's going to be some sort of a romantic relationship. Again, possibly with an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, or someone who you think is kind of a player, and you have mixed feelings about dealing with that player. You're trying to make the right decision here. It will tear up my home if I'm found out. Is it worth it to pursue something with this person who's kind of a wild card? And I'm not really sure what to make of that. Then again, we come back to this, the Fool card on the bottom of the deck, and ask the question too, so is the Fool foolishness, and the cat's trying to warn this person that he's about to fall off the cliff here, or could it be taking that blind leap of faith that, sometimes I really just have to shake it up and I got to move on and, kind of let the chips fall where they may. It is what it is. It's going to be what it's going to be. Well, so let's pull another card. I'd like to pull an oracle card for you. And today I'm working with the Alice in Wonderland oracle cards. By the way, I really love these cards. I think they're fantastic. And I really enjoy Alice in Wonderland as well. They're by Lucy Cavendish. Some of you are interested in the cards that we work with in these readings. Oh, see, we had a jumper. This is awesome. Let me pull it up. And, okay. The card is choices. Choices. Feeling blocked, restrained, right? Again, this ties right back with the Two of Imps and with our Lovers card that we saw back over here, right? So we'll pull those up with her. There were doors all round the hall, but they were all locked. And when Alice had been all the way down one side and up the other, trying every door, she walked sadly down the middle, wondering how she was ever to get out again. When we are changing in order to find our own personal wonderland, we need to keep the momentum going in whatever area of life the magic of change is arriving. This means leaving the in-between lands of the idea and entering into the choices we must make to move forward. It may seem to you, as it does to Alice, that each choice presents a potential problem, that there is not one clear choice or way to go. Each door is locked, too small, impossible to open or to even fit through. But Alice had not yet found the way. You too are on the road to finding the way to unlock the opportunities that are all about you. It may also be that various tests of courage will reveal the key to the door, which you will see when you enter Wonderland. Right now, you have choices. Each of them may seem to have one or more drawbacks or obstacles. You feel that if you do not know how to get through to the other side, perhaps you are not meant to go there at all. But look about you. There are solutions. There are ways through. You can create the next step, but you must be brave and willing to try something very new. And then you must be ready to deal with the uncertainty taking this step shall bring. If you peek through the keyhole, as Alice does, you will see the doorway leads to the loveliest garden you can imagine. You must find a way through, because the delights that lie on the other side are worth this test. The challenge is how to reach this place. You may need to grow smaller. You may need to grow larger. You may need to change yourself in ways that initially seem very strange to you. In divination, this card reflects choosing which way to go, a moment of decision, uncertain of what is best or what to do next, feeling like the door is closed, and wanting to reach the next stage of your life, but not seeing a single way through. There's a saying that goes, if God leads you to it, he'll lead you through it. And whatever your viewpoint is on God or divine or anything like that, just understand that nobody's ever brought to that place of a door if they're not also given the option of going through that or some ability to go through that. Everything that you've done in your past has led you to this point. And know that you're here because you are, in fact, able to cope with and deal with what that means when you're here at this point. Even if you don't feel ready, even if you feel like a small child inside and aren't sure exactly what to do with that, just know that you are being guided through all of those steps, that you do have your supports, whether they're your friends on earth, your family members, whether it's spiritual guides and supports. You have been brought to this point for a reason. And part of this is about your spiritual growth and development.